And take a moment to ground yourself. So, the ways in which we feel centered really help impact how our day goes. So, if we start in the morning with some centering practices, perhaps we have the capacity to notice the beautiful day, to be present for the experiences in our relationships, to be fully in gratitude for all the offerings that the day has for us. So let's pause for a moment and just drop in to create this centering. Shoulders to settle, a sense of open heart, shoulder blades coming down the back slightly. Into this moment, this breath. And even if you have some discomfort or pain, can you be more than your discomfort or pain? Can you let your awareness expand to include all the places within your mind and body that feel really good? So ready, place your hands together at your heart. Offer an intention. What is it that you need today in your practice? All right, and then let's bow. Let's bow in. Okay, so bring yourself onto your mat. All right, so lie down. See what it feels like to have a sense of length in your body. Change this curtain so I'm not totally in the sunshine. Just open yourself up to what today holds. Okay, so how is your body feeling right now? Stretch your arms, stretch your legs, and reach a little bit, feeling the deep length of stretching through the left, stretching through the right. What are you grateful for in this moment? Bring the knees into the chest and let's rock a little bit, swaying from side to side. Sometimes we forget to be grateful for the simplest of things. So let's just marvel at how we can easily move our bodies, even if it's not so easy to move your bodies. See what it feels like to just have gratitude for the ease. Okay, let's open up the knees away from the midline and bring them back toward the midline. Feel free to kind of move in semicircles or circles or whatever movement pattern feels good in the hip joints. And then when you're ready, take your knees as far apart as they comfortably will go and just kind of find a place that is your end range point of motion of abduction, pulling your knees away from the midline. Breathe here for a moment. And then bring your knees back into the chest. Right knee comes in, left leg is long on the floor. And feel into the movement of your body so your knee kind of hugs in. Feel free to roll around in your ankles. Find your breath. And then change sides. Right leg comes long, left leg comes in. Give a good squeeze, move around your feet. Deep breath. Then release that leg down. We're going to cross our right thigh over our left thigh and draw the knees up toward the chest, and getting into a little bit of the hips here, the outer hips. Feel into the length of your spine. So your crown and tail are still moving long away from each other. Draw your knees as close in as they will go, while at the same time as moving your tailbone down toward the ground and your sit bones wide. All right, and then unwind the legs, lift them straight up in the air. Engage your core for a moment. Feel free to bring your arms overhead, out to the sides, or down. I'm going to bring mine down just for some starters here. And let's flex and point the toes while they're up there. Engage through your core. Breathing well. And then we're going to cross left thigh over right thigh and draw your knees in. So stretching the outer left hip a bit. Find the tailbone, drop it down toward the ground. So a little space underneath your lumbar spine. Your head is heavy. There's nothing you have to hold up. All right, and then one more time, legs straight up. Maybe choose a different position with the arms this time. Okay, if you want to flex and point your toes, you can do that, or you can just be still. Drop your femur bones down into the ground. Feel your core. And then if you can, stretch your arms overhead and feel the length of your spine. Breathing deeply. And then we're going to bend our knees and stretch our legs out wide. Star your body out on the ground. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Exhale, draw the knees in. Head comes up. Once more, open your body out. Exhale. Draw your body in. All right, let's put your feet down onto the ground. A little bit of twisting here. Start with just some windshield wipering of your knees, going left and right. Full breaths. All right, now pause over on the left side. Drop your knees left. Stretch your right arm away. Feel just a little bit of stretch in your hip. Deep breath here. Come back center, over to the other side. Stretch your left arm, turn your head maybe to the left. All right, then come back up a little bit deeper of a twist. We're going to cross our left leg over our right leg. Okay. Lift up your hips and scooch them to the right just a teeny bit, and then drop your knees over to the left. You might grab a block and stick it underneath your legs somewhere. Just see if this twist is a little bit available to you. So you don't want to overstrain your back. You want to get into the hips a little bit differently. All right, come back up. Unwind your legs, neutral spine, legs straight up, third time's charm. So just find into the long spine, put your arms in your favorite place. Integrate femur bones down to the ground, the core is engaged. And then we're going to put our feet down onto the ground. Go ahead and cross your right leg over your left leg. Scoot your hips to the left a little bit and drop your knees over to the right. So you can put padding underneath your knees if you need it. So it's fine to put a block under your legs. Big breaths here. Unwind and release that posture. Take a deep breath. Starfish out your body. Exhale, knees into your chest. Let's go ahead and roll over onto your side and come up onto your hands and your knees. All right, so we're going to move through some cat-cows. And of course, as you move through some cat-cows, after a couple of rounds, any movement pattern that serves you best. So flexion and extension are always available, but so are every other possible movement pattern that your spine wants to make. So you can feel free to move around in your hips, do some circles, sway through your body, Anything that feels good. All right, we're gonna come back to child's pose. We're gonna move through a few moving child's poses. So take your knees comfortably wide. We're gonna lift our tailbone up and drop back with a good anterior tilt to the pelvis. Feel the compression in the hips and the openness in the back. And then come up onto all fours, tuck the tail and drop back. Open the back side of the lumbar spine. Feel the hips get a little more space in the front. Back up, anterior tilt. Feel the compression in the hip joints, the openness in the spine. Back up, posterior tilt. Feel the difference in your hip joints and in your back. All right, come back up onto all fours. Move the spine about. We're going to take our right foot straight back behind you. Curl your toes under so your foot is on the ground. We're going to cross that right foot over to the left and look out over the left side of your mat so that you have a sense of openness through the right side of the body. And then come back to center, change sides. Left foot comes back, curl toes under. We're going to cross left foot over to the right, square hips and shoulders, and then turn and look out over your foot. Come back to center and stretch your hips back down towards child's pose. And let's open up the sides of the body now. Reach over to one side or the other with your arms, so feeling your ribs and your shoulder get the opening now. The head is relaxed. Breathe deeply. Over to the other side. Find your breath. All right, then come back up. Find all fours, move the spine about. Head's warming up our twist. Reach the arm up in the air. Hand comes down. Doesn't matter which side you start with. We'll do both. Twisting to the side, breathing into the back body. So just touch into all the places that you're enhancing sensation. Inhale, reach that arm back up. Hand down onto the ground, second side. Lift the arm, exhale, slide the arm under. Breathing deeply. All right, let's go ahead and reach that arm back up. Hand down onto the ground, curl toes under, find your first dog pose. So take it for a walk, enjoy. Such simplicity of being able to feel your feet on the ground, feel your hands on the ground, feel that sense of interoception, the beauty of knowing and feeling your inner body. So drop some weight into your limbs, and then rise up out of your limbs, feel the rebound. Soften through your skull, let your brain relax. All right, let's walk our feet forward, come into Uttanasana, a deep stretch in the backs of the legs now. Bend your knees as much as you need. The spine is long. Feel free to shimmy the hips, relax the head. Inhale for a halfway lift. So the spine gets longer now, the legs are straight. Spread out your feet, root to rise. So feel the four corners of your feet drop. Lift up through the shafts of your bones, all the way up into your hips. Thigh bones come back. Stay grounded through the inner feet. Breathe deeply. Exhale and relax. Drop your seat, lift your chest, rise on up. So here we are, upright, okay? Find the breath, open the chest, lean back a little bit, just enjoy the openness of the heart. Cactus the arms if it feels nice, and then rise back up. Interlace your fingers, tip your head back, reach back, keep the chest broad and free. And exhale, and float forward. Relax your head. Halfway lift, spine grows. Exhale and melt. Step your left foot back, right foot comes forward, lunging here. Open your chest. Let's start to move the body, straightening and bending the leg, the front leg. Enjoy. So every time you arise in a new sensation, revel in it, absorb it, be present for it, have gratitude for it. All right, so ground yourself into a lunge, rise up, crescent lunge, arms reaching to the sky. Maybe lean back if your body is comfortable with a little bit of an arc here. Otherwise, just find the upright posture. So the arms go anywhere that supports. Breathing deeply. Let your breath travel deeply into your lungs, expand. And then release your arms, hands down onto the ground. Back foot comes forward. Fold deeply, relax your neck. Halfway lift, spine grows, thighs back. Exhale and fold. Step right foot back, left foot is forward, lunging. Let's start to move, straightening and bending the front knee. Move with your breath. Don't go so rapid that your breath is trailing behind. We want the breath to be the leader. Come to a lunge, ground your legs, rise up, crescent lunge. Arms coming up to the sky or down at the sides or anywhere that serves. Maybe you lean back a little bit, maybe you're upright, maybe you lean forward a little bit. So find what works for your body, ground your legs. The open big heart. And then release the hands down onto the ground, back to dog pose. Just feel your body warming and starting to open. Come forward into a plank as you're ready. Hold into the stability that's here. Feel your breath travel to the sides of your rib cage, integrate into the core, into the center line, down the whole strip of your body, from your crown to your in between your feet. Okay, find the ground, lower yourself down, roll the shoulders, open things up. As you're ready, cobra pose. Elbows stay bent, long spine. Exhale and melt. Twice more. Rising up, legs are long. Exhale to come down. Last time, feel free to lift and hover your hands up off the ground if you want to have a little extra work in the back body. And then exhale and melt. Come up onto all fours, move the spine around. Breathing deeply. Back to heart's child's pose. Which is your favorite way to be in child's pose? Anterior or posterior tilt to the pelvis? We're gonna come up, bring our left leg over top our right leg and settle back your hips toward cow face pose legs. Just drop into the hips a little bit here. Come into your breathing. Rise up, bring that knee forward, stretch that foot back. Change sides. I'll show this from the side just in case it's a little confusing. Start with your foot back. Bring the knee up and over the other knee, back toward eagle legs or cow face legs, however you want to see it, view it, feel it. Breathing deeply here. And then lift that knee back, stretch your leg. Lift to dog pose when you're ready. The spine gets longer. Stretch through the length of your body. Walk your feet forward when you're ready. Come into Uttanasana, fold in half, halfway lift, spine gets big and spacious. Exhale and melt. Take your feet to the edges of the mat, come to a wide squat. So knees, your elbows can be on top of your knees or inside of your knees. How are your knees doing this? If you need to support yourself in some way, spread out the bones of your feet. Spread out the sit bones. Lengthen through your spine. If you can, bring your arms straight out to the sides. Drop deep into the hip joints. Feel the deep compression there. And then we're going to slowly rise up, reaching the arms to the sky. If you get dizzy, just find the midline and squeeze in for a moment. Find the open heart. Exhale, back to a squat. Finding the breath. Arms out to the sides. We're going to push our feet and go super slow to stand back up. Open the chest. Last time. Coming into a squat, elbows inside knees. Spread out the bones of your feet. We're going to put the hands down onto the ground and we're going to come lower. So I like to have my feet a little closer than that when I come all the way down. So you do you. Perhaps you need to sit on a block. Maybe you need a blanket underneath your heels. Maybe your knees do not compress this deeply. So you just go wherever is comfortable for you. Find the breath. Just enjoy what's here. What amount of flexion do you have in your hip joints? If you're able to, reach the arms and lengthen them out to the sides, out in front of you, up overhead. Feel the back body work. And now, depending on your range of motion, you can put your hands down or just stand right back up. Open the breath, heel toe your feet in, come back to dog pose. All right, full inhales, full exhales. Enjoy the inversion. Put your legs where they're comfortable. All right, let's lift the right leg up in the air. Stack open the right hip, feel into the hip there. So it's very common for us to drop the left shoulder down, lift underneath so there's not as much drop. Stretch into the openness of that hip, the front of the hip. Then square up the hip. Stretch that leg straight. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, knee right to the center of the chest. Plank with your arms. Inhale, bring that back. Bring the knee now to the outside of the right elbow. In the plank. Lift the knee. Inhale, bring it back up. Cross the knee over to the left elbow. Use your core. Reaching that leg back up. Place your foot down onto the ground, second side. Lift the left leg. Start with your hips square. And then as you're ready, open up. Try not to collapse through the right side of your body. Lift under the right armpit. Your left leg can bend or be straight. Breathe into the openness of the hip. And square up the hips. Stretch that leg straight back. Exhale, knee to nose. Chest is forward. You don't have to bring your nose in. Okay. Reach that leg up. Plank pose with your upper body. Knee to outer left elbow. Hold that steady. Breathe here. All right, your next inhale. Lift that leg back up. We're going to cross over on the exhale to the opposite elbow. Find your breath. And reaching it back up. Place your foot down onto the ground. Dog pose. Come forward into a plank. We're almost off the hands. I know that was a lot for being on the hands. Lower yourself down to the ground. Roll the shoulders a couple of times. Take your arms back behind you. Legs are wide. Lift everything up. Arms, legs, all come up. The neck is neutral. All right, exhale and melt. Turn your head one side or the other. Pick up your feet and windshield wiper your knees left and right. Turn your head the opposite way. Keep breathing. All right, come back up. Move the spine about. Find the breath. We're going to lift ourselves back to dog pose. And then walk your feet forward. Come into Uttanasana. Drop your seat and rise on up. Orient yourself to gravity, so get used to being standing now. Open through the heart. Feel the yielding, let your breath come and go. Feel the grounding and yielding through your legs. All right, now we're going to take our legs wide apart. So Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. We're going to come now. Remember, you can always, if you need to, you can always put a block against a piece of furniture for this pose to support your knee if you need that. Okay, so always remember there's support available. You can do this pose sitting on a chair if you want. All right, so ground yourself. What's available? Allow your pelvis to turn as much as it needs to toward that front leg. And if your pelvis turns a lot, notice where your upper body is. So try not to turn back to a straight line with the long edge of your mat if your pelvis is really turned. See if you can follow the angles of your body so your chest is right over your pelvis. You can back away from this posture. You can go deeper into this posture. Just find the comfort zone for you today. Soften the shoulders. Round through your legs. Work into the hips. Take the top of the thigh bone back. Feel the effort in the glutes and the muscles underneath your glutes. All right, I'm going to come on up and we're going to pivot. We're going to just do some left rights here. So turning to the other direction, coming into Virabhadrasana on this side. So support your knee if you need it. Sit on a chair if you need it. Turn your pelvis a little bit if you need it. Put your arms in a place that supports you. Then find your breath. Ground your shoulders. Root into your feet. Feel the outer hips working. Full breath, soft shoulders. What's available here? And if you find that you hold a lot of tension in your neck, take your arms down and see what it feels like to really melt and soften the energy of your shoulders downward. Root from the earth upward. Straighten your legs. We're going to turn and come into triangle pose, tip the pelvis. So remember, this is not a rotation, but a tilt of the pelvis. We're not trying to keep the two sides of the hips even. Move the shoulders away from the ears and feel the long, spacious spine. So that inseam of that right leg will open, the inner hamstring. Let yourself have the extension without the hyperextension. Try not to lean into the hip or lean into the knee. So we're not dropping our weight, we're lifting out of that leg. So the feet roots and we rise out of the earth. Let's go ahead and find our way back up. Spin your feet to the other side. Triangle pose here. Tip the pelvis. We're moving over to the left. Line up your feet in a comfortable place. Support underneath your hand with the block or put your hand on your leg. Shoulders are away from the ears. We're not sinking and collapsing into the leg. We're active, rooting our feet, rising up through the spine. So just take some time to notice what you love about the posture. So remember, we're trying to have gratitude and deep, engagement in the sense that we're aware that what we feel is good, that there's something good in the body. So seek it out and find the pleasure. Come on up. Our little trifecta of the daily nourishment of our yoga postures. You can put your hand on a block
or your elbow on your knee. These externally rotated standing poses, Viratu, triangle, and Parsvakonasana, are a little trifecta that really help us engage our hips in a different way. You know, there's not much activity we do in the day where we're shaped like this. You know, what do you do in the day where your body takes this shape other than this posture? So enjoy the range of motion that's available to you. Find the length, find the space. Root into the feet, the deep work of the glutes and the muscles under your glutes. Keep the neck as soft and gentle as you can. Shoulders move away from the ears instead of creeping up. All right, and then rise back. Turn your feet the other way. Bend your knee. Elbow comes on the knee on this side or hand on a block. Remember, the hip can turn a bit to have comfort across our pelvis. Ground through the legs. So the feet are rooting. The work is in the outer hips. Stretch through both sides of the body and just enjoy the rooting, the sense of space and grounding that you have. Soften the shoulders, let the base of the skull rest and be easy. All right, come on up. Okay, take your feet to the long edge. We're going to drop weight into the left foot. Okay, so come down, bend deeply in your knee if you can, just go where your body can go, and stretch through the inner thigh, right from the pubic bone to the inner heel. Feel that length. Try not to fall in the knee. So there's a little bit of activity in the knee so you're not hyperextended. Breathing well. Okay, come back up. Walk your hands over to the other side, stretching and lengthening through that inner thigh. Full breaths. Try not to fall in the knee. A little slight lift in the knee. Extend the spine. And then we're going to come into a very wide squat. Maybe your hands reach your inner ankles and your elbows are inside the shins. Maybe not, just be where you are. Super wide squat here. Sit bones drop down and wide. Lengthen through your spine. Inner thighs are opening. All right, and then turn your feet straight. Relax. Take your feet back and walk your hands forward to the front of your mat, back to dog pose. Have a little internal rotation of the thighs now. So turn your toes in. Feel that internal rotation right at the hip joint. Extend through your spine. Deep breaths. All right. I'm going to bring our right foot forward to pigeon pose. So, usually we kind of reserve this for the end, but we're going to do it now. All right, so let me find your way. So you can have whatever support you need to allow yourself comfortably into the pose. Right leg comes first. If you know pigeon pose is not available to your body, then you can do reverse pigeon pose. Okay, the spine gets longer. We're going to find our way deeply resting in pigeon pose. So take any props that you need so your body really feels comfortable, that you're not hanging in space, that you have enough support to rest easy in this pose. Soften the shoulders, melt your body. Relax the base of the skull. Soften the muscles on your face. Hands back down onto the ground. And then you can choose to come out of the pose any way you want. You can swing the back leg forward and bring the front leg back. You can go back to dog pose, switching sides. Take any support that you need. Don't assume that one side matches the second side. All right, so as you get to a place where you feel like your pelvis is balanced, turn, look back at your leg, make sure it's pointing straight, that your leg isn't out to the side, that it's straight back from your hip. Open up the chest and feel the length of the spine. Widen your sit bones. And just let yourself rest in the posture. Deep breaths here. Melt through your eyes, your jaw, your tongue, your skin on your face. And let the ease of the face give a sense of freedom to the rest of your body, that you're giving cues that you can relax and get open. Notice the breath, the diaphragm, notice the shoulders. Are you holding yourself up in some way? Is there ease to be found? You are ready, and if you've touched into some good spots, we're coming back to this. We're going to go a little deeper into those sensations, but for now, let's go ahead and come on out. Do dog pose to get some balance through your pelvis. You can move your props around. Head breathing deeply, long spine. Now there's a couple of choices here. If your body's able, bring your right foot forward into a lunge and place your back knee down onto the ground. And we're going to do a twist, grabbing your thigh. So reach back with your right arm to grab your left foot, stretching your quadricep. So if this pose, let me show you from the side, if this pose is not available to you, there's lots of choices. You can stand up. You can hold on to something if you need. You can do a quad stretch standing. You can also do a quad stretch lying on your side where you grab onto your foot. So, the benefit of being in the lunge is that you stretch all four of your quadriceps, but also your hip flexors. So if you're able to do that, if your body can do that, go ahead. If your body can't do that, that's totally fine. So ground through your big toe. Come out of there and relax into child's pose. If you're standing up, you can just rest in Tadasana for a moment before we do the second side. When you're ready, come with your left foot forward, right foot is back. You can lie on your side and just switch to the opposite knee or leg to stretch. If you're standing up, switch to the opposite side. If you're on the ground, reach back with your left arm and grab onto your right foot. And open up here. Hug to the midline with your under thigh, so we're not trying to fall. We're staying integrated. Big toe roots. Find your breath. When you hang out in a stretch for a while, notice what's here. Come out of there. You can do any pose you want to release, and then we're eventually going to all meet sitting up. I like to be on the edge of a blanket for this. You might as well. Okay, there's lots of plans for this pose. There's lots of choices. Okay, so fire log is the full, I'll show the full version and then we'll back off. So left leg on top. Left foot is the inner heel and the big toe is stretching away. So we erase our wrinkles in our ankle. We're not letting the ankle collapse. Okay. So the foot is on the thigh, not inside the thigh. Now, if this is available to you, great. If it's not available to you, lean back, put your hands behind you, take your bottom leg, your left leg, your right leg, and put your foot on the ground. And if that's still not available, come down onto your back and do reverse pigeon pose. So any variation of kind of getting into the hips that you have available. Now, if you're in fire log, take your hands onto the ground, lift your body weight up and move your sit bones back. So a little anterior tilt to the pelvis, lift up through your spine. If you have something more to give to the pose, take your two hands on the soles of your feet, press your hands and your feet into each other, and then release that and lengthen the spine forward. And you can practice that a couple of times on the breath. So moving into hands and feet, a little bit of pressure, it doesn't have to be a lot. And then releasing, exhaling, lengthening forward. Try not to round the back and roll the pelvis. We want an anterior tilt and a long spine. It does not matter how deep you go. Be where you are. Stay within your boundaries. Shoulders soft. Find the breath. Come out of there. Stretch your legs straight. Okay, shake your knees. Find your breath. You can kind of take your legs hip width apart and just rock your femur bones in the hip joints. And we're going to go to the other side. So now our right leg is on top of our left. We're erasing the ankle wrinkles. So we're stretching through the inner heel and the big toe. Our foot is on top of our leg, not kind of tucked on the inside. So we don't want to collapse. You can take your sit bones and draw them back. You can always put your foot on the ground, lean back. You can always do reverse pigeon pose. So find what's available for your body. Open up through your chest, a little anterior tilt, and an open spine, no matter your posture. If you're going deeper, hands on feet, feet into hands, hands into feet. A little pressure. And then release that pressure and lengthen through your spine, coming forward. And you can do it a few times. This is called a PNF stretch, or a proprio-neuromuscular facilitation stretch, where you're just teaching the end range point in sensation of the body to adjust, to get a little longer. It's not about the depth. It's about being where you are. So, go to your endpoint, explore where your range of motion is available in the rotation of your hips. All right, let's go ahead and come back up. Find our way out of there. Stretch your legs straight. Okay. You can lean back on your hands and just rock your whole femur bone so that your legs are going to and fro. Big breaths. All right, let's come down onto our back. We're gonna do a bridge pose, but passively. So grab a block, and we're gonna put the block on the lowest height. So just right under your sacrum on the lowest height. Okay, let's start out with our legs bent, our feet on the floor. We are going to straighten our legs for a moment, but just enjoy this posture here. Breathe your way into the pose. Then we're going to stretch the right leg. Check out how that feels. And then if you want to join the left leg with it and do both legs, check out how that feels. If that doesn't feel good, just go back to the one leg, the right leg. Your arms can be overhead. Your arms can be down at your sides, out to the sides, wherever you feel good. If you are stretching both legs, heels stretch away. If you're stretching one leg, switch now. The left leg is now stretching long, heel on the ground, right leg is bent. Open up through your hips. Breathe well.
relax. Feet on the ground, lift your knees toward your chest, so feet off the ground. Adjust your block. You want it to create a little bit of traction underneath your back now. Breathing deeply, knees toward chest. Okay, we're going to put our feet down, adjust the block so it's in a happy place for you to bring your legs straight up in the air. All right, let the femur bones settle into the pelvis. Let this be nourishing to the pelvis. All right, and then as you're ready, we're going to open the legs out to a V. Find the breath. And then legs come back up. Bring the knees into the chest. Relax, let your legs soften, melt. And then release and bring your feet down onto the ground. Lift your hips, get off of that block. Okay, lift your hips, scoot them over to the right, knees come up and drop them left, twisting the body. Feel your breath. Come back up. Scoot your hips over to the other side, dropping knees down, twisting to the other side. Melt the weight of your head. Let your shoulders relax. All right, then go ahead and lift the legs back up. Okay. Pause. We're not in Shavasana yet. Just stretch your legs straight for a moment and just pause here. And check in with the pelvis. Let it just soften. There's a lot. We just did a lot of deep work in the hips. So let's just let it settle for a moment. We're going to set up for Supta Baddha Konasana in whatever way you like to do it. If you like to be flat on the ground, you can just take 2 blocks. Soles of the feet come together, knees butterfly out to the side, and you support the outer hips. So this is the simplest way, but of course you can do the full posture where you're taking a lot of props underneath you. And if you're going to do that, regardless of whatever props you end up using for Supta Baddha Konasana, make sure that your legs are supported. So I would like for you not to get that feeling of hanging. So if you want to have support, you can have 1 block at a low height and 1 block at the next highest height for under your head, and you can put some blankets or bolsters on top of that to create a ramp. You can have pillows for underneath your arms. You can have blankets for underneath your knees or blocks. You can just take whatever props you have so that the soles of your feet are together. Your legs are supported by whatever support you want them to be supported by, and you have a deep sense of ease in the body. All right, so this pose is worth getting all the props out and seeing if you like that. Maybe you like to be grounded and feel that your weight come onto the floor really well. So whatever feels really good. We're going to be here for a few minutes. So once you do discover a bit of ease, just lean into that ease. See what you can do to melt the body as best as you can. If you're cold, do something about it so that your body is at ease. Warmth helps you be at ease. Being hot or cold does not give the cue to your nervous system that ease is here. So try to let your temperature be a neutral variable. Checking in with your breath and make sure you're breathing well. At any time that you are ready, you can transition this to Shavasana, and this can also be your Shavasana. And if you are changing position, choose a Shavasana that's really comfortable for you. What kind of support do you want? What do you need? The most important thing you can do in Shavasana is let your body deeply surrender that and let your breath come. Marvel at how good it feels to rest on the ground. If you find any pockets of tension, do what you can. Surrender. Don't move your body yet, just come back into full awareness of your body. Consciously melt what you can. And find a bit of movement, maybe toes, on your ankles, maybe your hands and wrists. Feels good to stretch your face or turn your head. Make any movement that feels right, eventually rolling over onto your side. And using the weight of your arms on the ground to help you come to sit. So bring your hands together. Every time you step onto your mat, we have this capacity to grow in our awareness and presence. These are gifts that we can give to others. And the more grounded we are, the more present we are, the more aware we are, the more we offer. So open your heart, send your love to those who are hurting. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed day.